got it, everything ready? You do. I can tell. Welcome to Rock and Recovery. I am your host, Jay, and today I've got a special guest. Her name on TikTok is Babyfox, but her real name is a mystery, but it's really Bree. So we'll just leave it at that. It's Bree. How's it going, Bree?
I'm good, Jay. How are you?
I'm doing great. How was your holidays?
The holidays were hectic, but okay.
All right.
We,
Well, there's always that. They're always hectic, but okay, we got over them. How
we
the
did.
any New Year's resolutions that you're gonna try to stick to?
So I do resolutions a little differently. I make overall goals for the year, and then I break them down into
Okay.
smaller goals that I can achieve each day. So I don't really necessarily
Nice.
have resolutions. I just have goals that we're working towards.
I'd say I'm gonna make a resolution, but that's the first thing I did is I broke that saying I was gonna not make a resolution or make a resolution. So the way
Yes.
I figure it is 2025 is in the past. Why have to remember it? Burn that bitch down. Let's start freaking
Yes.
fresh in 2026. Kind of like each day. Each day is a fresh day. And if you're going through something, just hold on because the pain does end. We do bring hope, and that's what this is all about. So I'll just let you jump in and tell your story. Tell whatever you want to tell. I've got questions. Hopefully, you've got the answers.
Hopefully, I got the answers. It's possible. So my real name is Bria. I go by Bree. I actually did that whenever I got sober. I kind of like differentiated the two because I struggled with some form of addiction my whole life, but just went through a lot of things, right? It wasn't just drugs and alcohol. Like I've been addicted to people. I've been addicted to drugs. I've been addicted to alcohol. I've been addicted to self harm. I've been addicted to all kinds of things overall. So like that's kind of why I don't do, you know, resolutions too for the new year because I feed into that. So I think goals are more manageable. But um I don't know. I think my early childhood wasn't necessarily bad. Like I didn't necessarily come from a bad home. Like my mom and my stepdad had the white picket fence. My dad married my stepmom, who I thought was the Wicked Witch of the West at the time. But other than that, like my childhood wasn't really bad. I got to spend time with my grandparents. I got to spend time with aunts and uncles. But there was an underlying source of addiction through all of it because my mom drank, my dad's family drank. The first time I went to a meeting after I was forced to get sober, I ran into like 5 members of my family, and I was like, "Oh, this makes so much sense now."
Do you think that home life played a big part on why you became an addict?
I think it did and it didn't. Honestly, I think the genetics played a part. But what really like hugely like I can look back now and see, what I mean? Like I never saw it at the time, but like the self-harm that I did in high school and middle school, like that became its own addiction and I never really told anybody about it. So like after that it was energy drinks. Like I drank energy drinks and took stackers like they were going out of style. Um which probably should have been my first clue that I was ADHD and two that I was going to end up using cocaine and meth later. Really should have been my first clue. Like, hey, you probably have a problem, right? Um, but I never saw it as problems. Like, buy it at the gas station. Like, um,
So why were you forced to get clean?
so after many years of being addicted to things, the last 5 years of my addiction ended with a meth addiction and a terrible ex who it was like whole DV situation, but we also were selling things to contribute to our own habit. And it turns out when you're really loud about selling things and your ex is in the parking lot like throwing $100 bills around in the middle of
Ooh,
an apartment complex,
they
tends to
noticed.
attract the tends to attract the feds. Um, so by the time that
So wait a
my
minute. You
addiction,
said feds, right? Not just regular state police, but federal police too?
yes, yep. So
Hmm.
they it's kind of funny. So this is where hope comes in, right? Um, so by the end of my addiction, I made myself homeless. I technically still had an apartment, but I was living out of a tent. I had a tent, a pot, a backpack full of clothes, and my dog. And I made myself homeless to, one, get away from him, but two, I didn't want to be at my house because I knew shit was going to happen. And I ran. So I ran, and I was so good at hiding that the state police actually called my phone and were like, listen, we can't find you, but if you turn yourself in, we'll give you PR. 2 days before that happened, I was laying in my tent in the middle of the night, and I remember just looking at the ceiling, and I was like, if you're still there, just fucking help me. And I was like screaming at God in the middle of the night, crying, just done. 2 days later, 18 feds kicked at my door. I woke up to 37 different phone calls from 37 different people whose doors they also kicked in looking for me. And they couldn't find me because I was in a tent in the woods with my dog. So I did end up turning myself in. I turned myself in. They did give me PR, so that was cool. I ended up at the YWCA for a while, which was okay. It honestly saved my life. And then I got to move in with my mom at 28. But they had built a 3-year case on us, and they could prove 9,995 pounds out of my house in those 3 years.
How many pounds?
9,995
pounds of
methamphetamines.
Wow.
And we ended up getting ICE charges. I ended up getting 3 charges. We ended up getting ICE charges because it was 98.9% pure. I remember looking at my lawyer and the cop and going, so what you're telling me is I'm on a real life episode of Breaking Bad right now? And my lawyer did not find it funny. The cop kind of giggled and was like, I mean, kind of. And my lawyer was like, you can't say things like that. And I was like, well, I just did. Like,
wow.
It's like you gotta laugh at the situation, you know. But I got 2 counts of
reality
eating.
start to set in that, like, oh my God, I could be in trouble.
So reality set in after they gave me my charges after we were arraigned. I spent 18 hours in a federal holding cell, and they caught 31 of us at the same time. It made national news. And the reality of it set in after I left, and I had to call my mom and be like, this is what happened. But I got 2 counts of aiding and abetting my ex because he used my Facebook. Don't sell drugs on Facebook. Bad idea. And I got 1 count of conspiracy to deliver between Ohio, Georgia, and West Virginia. I've never been to Georgia a day in my life, but I got a conspiracy charge for it. So it was when they arraigned us and they gave me my charges, they told me that I was looking at 60 years. And I was like, holy fucking shit, that's my whole life. The most trouble I'd ever been in before that was a cigarette butt that I threw out. I got a littering charge, which was a $1,000 fine. And that was the worst trouble that I'd ever been in. So I took go big or go home quite literally. So I can laugh about it today. I was not laughing then. That was probably the most scared I've ever been in my life.
I bet. I can just imagine the anxiety that was going through your, and just all the possibilities that could happen.
Yeah. So they told us right off the rip, they were like, listen, we'll give you PR. The only stipulations is 1, you stay away from your ex, and because we were co-defendants, and 2, you don't use. And I was like, okay, we can do that, right? And at this time I was using over an 8-ball a day by myself. So an 8-ball is 3.5 grams, and I was using close to 5. I was 98 pounds, and I looked like shit. And I was like, oh, it'll be no problem. Like, I quit pain pills before, I can quit this. It's not going to be a problem. I went in, I passed my first drug test. There was 81 of us that had went into drug tests that first time, and 4 of us passed. Everybody else failed. Well, it had been 2 weeks and they hadn't picked up anybody, and I was like, oh shit, like they ain't serious. Like they're not picking up people. I went to a friend's house that night. I got high, and that night they kicked in everybody's door, and I was like, oh shit, I'm screwed. Like I'm done for. This is the end. I didn't use again after that, so my clean date is June 5th of 2018. That was the last night that I used, and I've been sober ever since then, which is crazy,
You
crazy
got,
sauce.
did you say June 5th, 2018?
Yep, so I have 7 years.
Wow, 7 years, coming up on 8.
Oh, coming up on 8. Fucking great.
That's
It doesn't
crazy.
feel like it's been that long.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So after that, I got blessed. They ended up giving me federal drug court. So I did 18 and a half months of federal drug court, where I had to be there Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. It was basically like intensive outpatient. I had to go to therapy once a month. I had to go to meetings 4 times a week. And I had to go to the federal building, to the actual courthouse, and stand up in front of a judge twice a month. And like, they basically just lay your soul bare and are like, this is everything that you have going on. Why are you not doing this, this, and this? And it was like,
Right.
nothing was ever good enough. And I didn't think that I was going to make it through that. I was like, there's no way. There's no way that I can do this. Like, y'all are asking way too much. So I grew up near Akron. And if you know anything about meetings, Akron is like the metropolis of AA, right?
I was going to say Ohio, or like
yeah,
because
Ohio.
there's Akron, Colorado, where I grew up. Not in Akron, but there's an Akron,
Yeah.
Colorado.
So there's an Akron, Ohio, and AA was like founded there. So it's like a huge deal, right? And my mom had to go to AA meetings. Like I know about meetings. It's not a huge deal. I was like, oh, yo. And I was like, listen, like y'all are crazy. I'm not. Like, I'm not going up there 4 times a week. Like, y'all are insane. And the guy that like ran drug court looked at me and he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to Akron. Like, that's 3.5 hours from here. I'm not doing that. And he's like, there's meetings here. The fuck? And I was like, oh, so like that was like my first realization that there were things here, because I didn't know that there was things here. Like, I didn't know that there's meetings. I didn't know that there was rehabs. I didn't know that there's outpatient stuff. Like, I had zero clue that there were resources in West Virginia. And my first day of drug court, I made it my mission to find every single resource that I could find in my state, to make sure that nobody else felt like that. Like, I didn't want anybody else that was in active addiction to feel like I felt. Like there was nothing, there was no hope, there was no resources, because the state has so many resources for addicts. It's not even funny. And that's what I did. I poured my heart and soul into making sure that nobody else felt like I did. I didn't want anybody else to feel alone. I didn't want anybody else to try and take their life. I didn't want anybody else to feel like they didn't have an option when there is options. So that was kind of crazy, but
So the first time you did it, you were forced into recovery. Did it take that first time, or did you have to do it more than once?
So actually, that was not the first time that I had gotten sober. The first time that I had gotten sober, I got sober from pain pills. I broke my shoulder in high school, and I got my wisdom teeth out, which gave me an overcompensated amount of pain pills. When I got my wisdom teeth out, they gave me around 375 in a matter of 2 months.
Damn.
And then after all of that was done, I cracked my shoulder in half, and that ended with Percocets for almost a year while I did physical therapy because they were like, oh, the bone's just going to heal itself. It'll be fine. You're going to stay in the sling. You're going to do physical therapy. You're going to take these pills. It'll be good. The bone is still not healed. I have to go have my shoulder re-broke and put like screws in it. And I'm less like, I don't know that I want to do that. But I got pregnant and I had my son and I was sober for 3 years. So I had done it on my own before, but turns out my kid was not enough to keep me sober. It took one bad day and the wrong person living at my house. And then 5 years later, I ended up, the meth addiction and the feds kicking in my door.
Which one was harder to quit?
So they both have their own battle, right? Like pain pills sucked because withdrawals fucking suck. I got the whole 9 yards. Like I threw up, I sweat, I was pregnant, so like it was like doubly bad. And then like meth is its own beast. There's a reason that only 2% of people make it. It's very mental. I didn't have withdrawals from it. I know I slept for like the whole first month and I went from 98 pounds to 165 pounds because I ate everything. But it was very mental. It was very, I want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want to do it. I don't want to do it. And I also ended up with meth-induced psychosis. I did not end up with meth-induced psychosis though until after I was sober for 3 months. So I was sober for 3 months, sitting on my mom's porch, hallucinating that there was people in her front yard that weren't there, and she was putting meth in my cigarettes. Thank God I was in drug court at the time because they like knew what was happening. But I would go in and I'd be like, "I'm gonna fail this drug test," and they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because my mom's putting meth in my cigarettes," and they're like, "Your mom is not there. What? No, like that's not happening." And I was like, "It is too. Every time I smoke, I can taste it. I know what's happening." And I would pass these drug tests, and I was like, "There's no fucking way." And they ended up sending me to therapy. I got to see a therapist, and they put me on meds and stuff, and it went away after a while. The scary thing about it is that could happen again at any point in time. Like at any point in time, my brain could just break again and be like, "Here you go, have some hallucinations."
How'd you get
so
through
far,
that? Because
so good.
because I suffered from the same affliction. That meth-induced psychosis is a bitch.
Yeah, it was not a fun time.
How'd you get through it?
Honestly, to be honest with you, like I really feel like when I was diagnosed with ADHD too at the same time, because I was like, no, listen, like you don't understand. Like I can do meth and remember every single thing that's ever fucking happened to me. I was like, and then like I don't do meth and I can't remember fucking shit, right? And I'm like, it's like I have all these file folders in my head and I can compartmentalize them and they're there and like I can pull out whatever I need. I was like, but right now it's like I have a computer and every single pop-up and music and like fucking everything all going on at the same time. I was like, and there's a dude in your corner. And she's like, one, I'm pretty sure you have ADHD, and two, like there is not a guy in this room. And I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, yeah, there is. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. Like, I don't know why you can't see him. But they ended up putting me on ADHD medicine. So they put me on Ritalin, and then they put me on Seroquel, and then I don't remember what else I was on, but I was on like 5 different pills. And this went on for like a year, which I did stop hallucinating. Like that went away, thankfully. And finally, after a year, like one, I was waking up in the middle of the night and eating, and my mom was getting pissed because I'm living with her at this point. And I, in the middle of the night one time, she had made a cake for my birthday. And I woke up the next morning and I'm like, oh man, like I don't have Pop-Tarts next to me. Like we're golden, right? Like
Pop-Tarts.
I have
Oh
beaten
my God.
I have
Yes.
beaten Seroquel. I don't have Pop-Tarts or crumbs in my bed. We're good. I walk out and she's holding this cake and the whole middle of it is eaten. And
no.
she was like, did you do something last night in your sleep? I was like, no, dude, like I woke up, there's no crumbs. I feel great. Like everything's good. And she just like holds up this cake and she's looking at me and I was like, oh man. And she's like, you couldn't have at least used a fork? Like,
You literally
oh,
ate from the
shit.
middle of the cake.
I did. I ate from the middle of the cake.
Why in the
In the
middle? Why
middle of
not
the
the
night.
sides? That's where all the icing's at.
That's what I was saying. Well, she hadn't iced it yet. So, like, it was just
Oh,
the cake. Like, she was leaving it cool, I guess, overnight because my birthday.
oops. That was her fault. Total her fault.
Yeah, right? And I don't know. Apparently, in my half awake brain, I was like, the middle of the cake sounds like a good idea. Had
Wow.
no clue. Zero clue. And I went to my therapist and I was like, listen, my mom is going to unalive me if I keep eating shit in the middle of the night. Like, Seroquel is not working for me. Um, and I was like, and I don't really want to be on everything else. And she was like, I don't know that this is a good idea. And I was like, it's a great idea. And she was like, we can try it. You know what I mean? So I came off the Seroquel first, and then I came off of the other meds like slowly. She left me on the Ritalin, which was cool for the first like 3 years that I was on it, and then I was like, listen, like I really don't want to be on a stimulant anymore. Which they switched me to Strattera, and Strattera's worked great. It's a non-stimulant. Like I feel good. I don't have to worry about crazy shit. So, but I honestly like the whole first year of my sobriety, like I don't remember a whole lot. And I don't know if that's like my brain just blocking out. Like I remember the lessons that I learned from like AA and NA, and I remember like parts of drug court, but I don't remember a lot of it. Um, and I think it's just because I was on so many meds. Like I was on so much medication that my brain was just like, I can't function, so you're fine. Like,
So
but
during that 18 months at drug court, was there any times that you were thinking, because you got sentenced to that instead of actual prison or any harsher sentence?
yeah,
Which, for those that don't know, drug court is fucking hard. It really
yeah,
is. They have control of your life. You might as well be in prison, almost.
yeah. So like it was like being in prison, but at my house, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, so I went to class Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, every single day. And then I had to do 4 meetings a week, which ended up being a meeting every day because I, come to find out, like I said, half of my family is in AA. And my mom had called a guy that used to work at the American Legion. Um, and he would come and get me every day. He would just pull up in the driveway, he would beep his horn, and he would wait on me to come out, and he'd be like, okay, get in the truck, we're going to get ice cream. And like ice cream always ended in a meeting, but I did get ice cream each time, so it was cool.
There's a plus.
Yeah, it was a plus. And that transitioned into me meeting my first sponsor. And then she took me to meetings. And I ended up firing her because I sat on my 4-step for 3 months. And it literally drove me fucking crazy. Like, I remember that. And I was like so out of it that other people in meetings and stuff were like, are you using again? And I was like, no, like I'm not fucking using. Like, what is wrong with you people? And but like looking back now, like I can see the level of crazy that I was, but it was literally just because like I had wrote out my whole life and wrote out like every bad thing that I had ever done or that was done to me, and like my part in it, right? And like not telling anybody after ate me fucking alive. And that was when I met my second sponsor. So at this point I was working because drug court goes in phases. So like I was in phase 2, so I was only going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 to 4. And then I had met my second sponsor. I got a job. I applied to 87 places. Bob Evans was the only place to hire me. So I had gotten a job at Bob Evans as a girl cook, and I was cleaning shelves, and I was humming "Ring Around the Rosie." And we had went to a meeting after work, me and another friend, and there was this girl there, and we were all standing in a circle doing the Lord's Prayer after, and she was humming "Ring Around the Rosie." And I stopped after, and I was like, "Listen, this is gonna sound fucking crazy, but like I've literally been humming that song all day. I was like, do you by chance sponsor people? And she was like, I do. Why? And I was like, explain the situation. I was like, listen, like I have a sponsor. She seemed really cool. Like we get along really good. Like she's a friend. I was like, however, like I've been sitting on my fourth step for the last 3 months. And she was like, absolutely fucking not. She was like, you're coming to my house tomorrow. And me and my sponsor have an amazing relationship. We literally got matching tattoos on my 1 year anniversary. She will forever live on my shoulder. But like getting all of that out, honestly, like fixed me. It fixed all of the crazy that I had going on. And I think that that's what people mean by your secrets make you sick, is like when you hold on to all of that, it literally eats you alive. Like it was
It does
literally
weigh
like
you
using
down. It really
drugs.
does.
Yeah, it was like using drugs without using drugs. It's the craziest experience that I've ever had in my life. So,
So how important was that fourth step to you?
I think my fourth step was really important. I also, after that, so I got a combination, right? So I do NA and I also do AA, and my sponsor kind of meshed the two. So I did my fourth step out of the NA book, and then she also had me do it out of the 12 and 12. So I kind of got 2 4 steps. Um, but like I think the fifth step is what really saved me, right? Because like that was admitting your wrongs to another human being, and God or the universe or whatever you want to call it. And like laying my soul bare and her being like, because some of the things that I had wrote down like entirely were not my fault. I had zero control over those, but I had felt like it was my fault. And the biggest person that I was mad at was myself. And I was able to write that down on paper and talk about that with her. And like for her to sit there and be like, listen, like half of the things that you wrote down are not your fault. Like that that wasn't you. Like that was a situation that you were put into where you didn't get a choice. She's like, but you made the best of what you had with what you could do in that moment. And like her saying that just kind of broke something in me, right? Because like I've spent this whole time being mad at myself. Um, and to hear her say that and her be like, like you didn't deserve the DV things that happened. You didn't deserve the abuse that your mom put you through. You didn't deserve like all of these things that had happened. Um, was huge. Like nobody had ever done that for me in my life, and she had hugged me, and it was like a genuine hug. Um, and I don't think that I had that necessarily. My dad's kind of standoffish, and my mom just, she hadn't hugged me since I was like 5. So, like, to have another human being like genuinely care, I think is
Right.
what was important about that.
Right. Why'd you blame yourself so much?
I blame myself a lot because, like, so obviously I had gotten sober, right? I had gotten sober for my kid, and then I met a guy and thought that he was gonna be my everything. He was pretty charming when we met, and I loved him. And I think I beat myself up because I chose wrong. Like I chose wrong. I didn't see the signs. He was every man that my mother had ever dated, right? Like, and I should have saw the signs. And it ended up with my mom getting custody. My mom got custody of my son for 3 years, before. Like, thank God that she did, because if not, I would have had a CPS case too, along with my federal case. Thank God I was smart enough to be like, you know what, this is not a safe situation for him. He needs to go stay with my mom. And I did that, which took a lot of fucking effort and a lot of willpower to do. And I beat myself up because I always promised him, like, I'm going to come see you. I'm going to come see you. I'm going to come be with you. I'm going to come for your birthday. I'm going to come for Christmas. I'm going to come for whatever it was. And I never did.
The broken
Like,
promises through addiction.
yeah. Yeah, I never did. And I also played my mom off my dad. Because they've been divorced since I was 6 months old. So, like, I would call my dad and be like, I need this much money for my rent. And then I would call my mom and be like, I need this much money for my rent. And they would both send it. And then, like, they both realized that they were both sending it. And they were like, hey, yo, we're not fucking sending you any more money. Like, um, and I had lost the place to live. I had lost, a lot of things. And then I was looking at federal charges. And at the end of the day, like, it was kind of all my fault. Like, and I was like, fuck, dude. Like, I fucked
Did you
up.
just ignore? Did you ignore or just overlook most of the signs of what he was and what was going on just to feed your own addiction?
I think it was a lot of that, and it was a lot of the illusion of, because like I said in the beginning, like, he was Prince Charming. Like, he had a job, like, we would go and do things all the time. We took my kid to go and do things all the time. Like, my first red flag, honestly, was I bought my fucking own engagement ring. So he had lost his job. I was paying for all of the alcohol that we were consuming. I was paying for all of the pain pills that we were consuming. And I paid for my own engagement ring. Um, and that probably should have been my first sign right there. Like, this is not okay. This is not how this works. Um, and he honestly didn't start getting abusive until we did meth. Like, we did meth and he was a whole other creature. And if you haven't ever done meth, then, like, you don't understand how that works, right? So, like, meth takes whatever you have mentally going on and exacerbates that times 10. So, like,
Times
that's
at
why some
least 10.
people, yeah, so, like, that's why some people, go crazy and they're, like, seeing shit and they're, like, talking to walls and, like, seeing shadow people, like, doing all the things, right? And then there's other people who, like me, where it made me normal because I have a different thing going on. After we broke up, I found out from his family that he had other things, like, he was supposed to be medicated for. He's had it since he was like 12. He went off his meds at 18 and just never took them again. So
Mm.
meth took everything that he had and exacerbated that times like 1,000. And he got really mean and really abusive.
And then
I
two
don't
addicts living
remember.
together, that does not make for a healthy situation.
No, not at all. Because I had to use more and more because it just made me normal. And then, like, I was like, well, I'm not fucking getting high. So, like, I was using more and more and more and more and more because I was like, I'm not high. Turns out, with the amount of purity that it was, I was probably so high that I didn't know that I was high. Um,
You weren't sleeping, so you didn't know, you know.
yeah, yeah. Um, and it was fun at first, right? Like, we would just stay up all night. Like, we would color, we would play darts. Like, it wasn't bad. Like, nothing could touch us. Like, we were invincible. Like, we tattooed each other. Like, there was so many. I got so much shit done. Like, I got so much shit done without getting anything done. So, but I let all of the things that, like, mattered fall to the wayside. So, like, my kid didn't matter. My bills didn't matter. My car didn't matter. I literally left my addiction with a tent, my dog, and my driver's license. Like, that is what I had. But I was winning because everybody else around me didn't have a driver's license. I was the only one. So, like, I might not have had a car, but I could legally drive us places. Which is terrible, but
It is
yeah.
the things that we do to ourselves in addiction is freaking insane.
Yeah.
The shit that we have to put up with, the shit that we go through, and by our own choosing, and then
Yeah.
it's we'll think it's bad or we think it's okay.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
definitely thought it
it
was okay. I thought everything I was doing was perfectly normal and I was fine. Because I went to work every day. I went to work every day,
right.
worked my job. I ran a whole hotel for a lot of years. Like, then I went to a pizza place. I worked at a pizza place like nonstop all the time. And I was like, oh, they're never going to investigate us because I have a legal job.
So you
I
got
pay
busted.
taxes.
The feds kicked in your door. You
Yeah.
did drug court. Now, what's life after drug court? How's that going?
So in drug court, like I said, I knew that I wanted nobody to feel the way that I felt, and I wanted people to know that there was resources. So in my time at drug court, I took peer recovery coaches classes, which was a week long program. I got to get out of drug court for it, so that was a double plus because I didn't have to be there. Um, but I learned a lot in that time. And then I decided at the end of drug court, I got in a program called Jobs and Hope. So Jobs and Hope down here is like a program for people who are transitioning back into real life, whether that's from jail or from just addiction or IOP or rehab or whatever. The only stipulations are that you're over 18 and you used to be an addict and you can pass a drug test. So those are the only three stipulations. Like you just have to be able to pass a drug test. You have to be over 18. So I ended up doing Jobs and Hope. And what they do is they either help you with education, they help you with like if you need to get your GED, if you want to go to college, if you just need like basic life skills, like whatever it is, you just have to be taking like some kind of classes through them. And the community college here had opened a new thing. It was a substance abuse intervention program. And I decided, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get my associates. This is what we're going to do. So it's an associate's in applied science, and then you get a certificate for substance abuse intervention on top of it. So I did that. I did that for 2 years. I freaking love college, which was weird because I had tried 37 other times to go to school and they all failed. So I don't know if that's like credit to, you know, finding out that I had ADHD and like being on medication, I was actually able to focus for once, or like I just genuinely was old enough to be like, you know what, like I really enjoy this. I really enjoy psychology. I really enjoy learning. And I had found like a newfound thing for it. So that's what I did. I went to college. I did my 2 years and then I sat for state testing and I passed. So I am a certified peer recovery coach in West Virginia. It's called a PRSS, Peer Recovery Support Specialist. I can technically sent for my prevention specialist license too. After drug court, they did end up dropping my charges. So they dropped them and everything is good to go there. They don't show up on anything, thankfully, or I would not have the job that I have.
No
because,
doubt.
Because they would not
I
appreciate
think
that.
that would hinder any application that you put in.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I ended up passing. We opened a we opened a recovery resource center with a collaboration of we made shit, sorry. Anyways, we made a collaboration with YSS, which is Youth Services Systems. And we opened like a prevention and resource center in our county, which was a huge deal because our county had nothing. And then the same year they opened a Suboxone clinic, and which was another huge thing because like we had nothing. We literally had the hospital. After volunteering there and doing PORT, which is our post overdose response team, where we would go and help people who overdose and give them resources and Narcan and, you know, just kind of see what happened. Instead of them getting arrested, their options were get arrested, talk to these people. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. It just kind of depends on the person. I started working at the hospital and I launched the program at the hospital. So Reynolds has a peer recovery coaches inside of their ERs, and that's part of WV medicine. So we launched a program with a company out of Maryland to have peer recovery coaches. So basically, the nurses would like ask a series of questions, and depending on where you ranked, your profile would flag to me. So if you had ever used drugs, if you were a closet alcoholic, if you came in withdrawing, like whatever, like, because some people knew that they were addicted, right? And then other people like had no idea. So I was like walking in blind, like not knowing if these people even knew that they possibly had an addiction, which is very like you tread lightly because nobody wants to be told, you know, hey, have you ever thought that you were an addict? but that was really cool, and I got to help a lot of people that way. And I got to help a lot of people see that, like, maybe I do have a problem. And so with that program, I was there for a year, and I had a 95% success rate of getting people to go to treatment and stay in treatment.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so the program worked as I would go in and talk to you. I would figure out like what your needs were and where you wanted to be. And then I would send you to treatment based off that. So like whether it was you needed to stay in the hospital and withdraw for 3 days, whether you needed medical detox, whether you needed to go to regular detox, whether you needed to go to rehab, or whether you needed a bridge program, right? Because we did bridge programs too. So like you would get Suboxone in the hospital, we would give you a 3-day script until you could get into wherever I sent you. The funny thing about it is I had sent almost 20 people to the place that I work now. Um, so I quit the hospital. I lost my mom. That was the closest that I've ever been to relapsing. I stopped on the way home from the hospital. I bought 3 bottles. I got home. I had went to stick my cards back in my wallet, and in my wallet I have where my ID should go. I have a list of numbers. One's my mom, one's my dad, one's my sponsor, and one's my best friend. And I obviously couldn't call my mom because she was no longer with us. My dad lives in Ohio, so he's not coming to help. And I got to my sponsor and I called her, and thank God she answered. Um, and I was like, this is what I did. I bought 3 bottles. I spent $80. They're sitting in the front seat of my car. And I can't make guarantees that I'm not drinking all of them. And she's like, well, fuck no, you're not drinking all of them. Like, you'll end up in the hospital. Like, we're not doing that. That's a dumb idea, right? And I'm like, yeah, it probably is a dumb idea, but
But
this
it
is what
sounds good
happened.
to me at the time.
Yeah, it sounded great. And she's like, I'm gonna put you on hold for a second. I can't come to you right now, but I'm gonna send somebody. Um, and then she popped back over and she's like, all right, tell me what happened. And I told her, I was like, I lost my mom. Like for the last 5 years that I've been sober, like my mom was everything. And they
Yeah.
couldn't give me a reason why. So like I got down to the hospital and they were like, we don't know what happened. Like we have zero clue. And I was like, listen, I
That's
was
the
like, if you
worst
can't
answer
tell,
possible.
yeah, but I was like, listen, if you can't tell me why, like I'm gonna tell you why. And they were like, why? And I was like, because she wanted to be with her fucking husband. I was like, he died 2 years ago. She never did anything with the house. Like she never touched any of his stuff. Like everything was in
She was
pristine.
slowly dying on the inside already.
Right. And I was like, if you can't tell me why she died of a broken heart and she wanted to be with her husband, like that
Yeah.
man was the love of her life and she just couldn't take it anymore. Um, and that's what I chalked it up to. And that was the most broken that I've ever been. And I quit the hospital because I was not in a good place myself. And I was like, listen, I can't help other people with their problems when I'm having so many of my own right now. And she sent my cousin. She sent my cousin to dump out my alcohol without knowing that it was my cousin. So like, my cousin Jonna shows up and she's like, "Girl, what you doing?" And I'm like, well, I fucked up. Well, I mean, I haven't really fucked up because I didn't do it. Like, it's still there. And
Yeah.
she was like, okay. So instead of returning it, because we're both whatever, she dumps it out in my driveway.
Oh,
And the difference this time in losing somebody in my life is I had actual people that were willing to show up and show out for me.
yeah.
Um, and that's how that brings us to TikTok and how we met.
Yep.
Um, I
Almost a year
started,
ago.
yeah, a year ago. I started cleaning out all of my mom's stuff and I found her poems. Um, and I was like, damn, dude, like the world needs these. And that's what I started doing. I started reading my mom's poems. And then I found a group of people that I wanted to go live with. And they were like, listen, like you could make a difference. Like, why don't you just go live yourself? And I was like, y'all are funny. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I felt the same way, the same exact way. Like, no, no, I refuse.
Yeah. And after 6 months of, them talking me into it, I finally hit the live button myself. And TikTok changed my whole fucking life. Um, So I got to I host boxes every holiday for people that don't have a place to go. We talk about recovery. We talk about not recovery. We laugh. We have a good time. I've built like a community of people, right? Um, and I still have like my AA, NA friends and like all of the
Right.
things. And like they are still there to wrap their arms around me, but I got arms wrapped around me from every state. And like that was mind blowing to me. And it's so weird now because like before, right? Like an addict can pick out an addict. Like I've
Right.
always said, you could drop me in Canada. And if
And
I
I can
really
find
wanted
more.
to
Yeah.
use,
Yeah.
I will find it. Um,
Yep.
uh, but like that's also how I tell how my mental health is, right? Because like now I attract people who are sober. Like,
Yeah.
and it's been crazy because like that's what really wanted me to shift my platform more towards recovery is like I started getting people in my boxes and they're like, man, like, like it'd just be off the wall. They'd be like, yeah, like I got like 6 months clean or something. And I'd be like, oh my fucking God, like congratulations. Like I got like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, and like if you ever need anything, reach out. I've been able to send multiple people resources from different states. So I've gained like a network of states now that I have for like rehabs and connections and things and like sober living and like all this stuff, like, and I've been able to build a network of that. So that's been really cool. We literally have a Google Doc, me and a couple friends who work in the same field, of places that we can send people. So like if we ever need it, like it's there, which has been really cool because we all just get to add to it.
Boy, could
And then
I
I
add some
started
names
working on
to
my
that
book.
list.
Yeah, yeah, it's long. It's like West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. So we have 6 different states on it with like all kinds of resources.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's been really cool. But I can find almost anybody a place to go if you need a place to go. So
How rewarding is that feeling? And then I want to talk about the importance of community after that.
yeah. So I mean, one, I think it's really rewarding. I love my job. I love being a peer coach, right? Like, because I get to use my own life experience to help other addicts or people who have been in the same spot. Like, we might not necessarily be in the exact same spot because obviously everybody's journey is different. But, like, I get to help them in whatever way that looks like for them. So, like, whether it's meetings, whether it's church, whether it's rehab, whether it's IOP, whether it's group therapy, like whatever it may be, like I'm just kind of like this network of resources and I just get to like go, you need this, 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 and it like keeps my brain busy, I guess. So that's been really cool. And I absolutely love what I do. Like I love watching the changes that people make. And it's all suggestive, right? Like I could be like, hey Jay, like, have you ever thought about doing this, this, or this? And you might go, no. But if I was like,
No.
hey, Jay, you should do this, this, and this, you're going
Right.
to shut down and go, absolutely fucking
Right.
not. You told me I should do it. I ain't fucking doing it.
Right. I ain't
Like,
doing it for sure now.
right. Like, it's definitely not happening now. So, like, it's
What? You
really
tell me
cool
what I have to
to,
do? Nope.
yeah.
I'll prove you wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, it's really cool to just be like, hey, have you ever thought about doing it this way, maybe? And they'll be like, no, I haven't ever thought of that, but like that makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
does.
and I'm able to talk to them and be like, listen, like this is my experience with this situation. Like, I don't know if it's gonna work for you, but it might if you try it. Like, so that part's really rewarding for them to come back and be like, oh, it worked. Oh, it didn't work. Like, this is what happened. Like, and people are more open and honest about things with me than they are with most people, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So,
It's that connection, you start connecting with people because
yeah.
all of a sudden we're honest to a fault sometimes, and we're very vulnerable and we open ourselves up to criticism and rejection and all these nasty other things that affect our mental health. But we do it on purpose to help the next person,
Yeah.
just to connect with somebody. And in that, there's a lot of trust. And that brings me to the topic of community. You have to have a strong community. You have to have a strong people, a strong community that you can trust.
Yes. Absolutely. Like that's the thing, right? Like is it's been really cool because like I have built a huge community, and like I've built a community of people that will stand behind me through anything, but like the other side of that is like I get to stand behind them too. Like
Yes.
I am everybody's biggest supporter. Like, everybody's like, "Oh, this matters, that matters, this matters, this matters, blah blah blah." And I'm like, at the end of the day, none of that matters. Like the gifts don't matter. Like the people being there for each other is what matters.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I look at it differently than most people, I guess.
I do too, because honestly, that's what kept me from that kept me getting sober and kept me being wanting to be sober is the community
Yeah.
that I had to be accountable because I built. These are like I built a
Yeah.
community and that maintaining accountability to them and to yourself is what kept me going, honestly. And,
Yeah.
without them and without their support, just to be there to talk to when I was going through things, or when somebody would come into one of those boxes and one of those lives and say, "Hey, I'm having an issue. I'm
Yeah.
struggling mentally, with whatever." It's like, hold, well, I'll listen. I might not, I don't have any advice. I can tell you what I did, but
Right.
it's probably the wrong way, but it worked for me.
Yeah.
I suggest nobody do it my way because it worked for me, but it was terrible.
Yeah. Don't let the feds kick in your door.
Yeah,
The moral of
exactly.
the story.
And which brings me to this vicious rumor. I heard this vicious rumor about you the other day, Bree.
Oh
I'm telling
man.
you, it's a very, very, I think it's malicious and vicious all at one time. Something about
Oh
a
no.
book. Something about a
Oh
book.
yeah.
Yeah. What's it? Is this rumor true?
It is true. So I'm actually
What?
writing 2 books.
Oh no. Man, I called that person a liar and everything else. I'm like, no
Yeah.
way.
So I'm writing 2 books. My fantasy novel is really close to being done. And that actually, both of these kind of go back to your 4th step, honestly. So the fantasy novel is based on like your inner child, right? So like we all have this inner child who, I don't know if you did this when you were little, but like you're outside and you like felt like you would like stomp really hard and like crack the ground, or like you were like outside in
Or
a
jump on a
windstorm and you're like
puddle
holding your
and
hand up,
get
pretending like you
everybody
like
wet.
controlled
Yeah.
lightning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
you're like a superhero, right? And so the whole book is based on like, what if you never lost that? Like, what if that was real? And so like this girl goes through her whole life and she's like, nah, none of that was real. Like she writes it off as coincidence, right? And then like as she gets older, like she realizes that it's real. Like all of that was real. Like she
That's
really
awesome.
can use magic. And then she like unlocks her full potential when her aunt dies and she has to go to New Orleans and like go through her house. And like it was really just a way for me to write my grieving process, and also like how I felt like because I had discovered that part of myself. So like it's really kind of about me in a way, minus the fact that I
That's
am not a
fucking
millionaire.
awesome. I
Um
need to read that book.
yeah, and then the second one is called I Choose.
You just muted yourself, so I can't hear you. So hopefully it's I choose something else.
Yeah, so the other one is called I Choose Love Over Fear. Sorry, my mic died.
It's okay. It happens to all of us.
Yeah, so the other one is called I Choose Love Over Fear. And I actually want to read the ending for you, if that's okay.
Read it away. I want to hear this.
All right, so the I Choose Love Over Fear is a self-help memoir. At the end of each, so I go through each chapter. Like the first one starts with my childhood, and it's all about my addiction and the recovery process. And then I ask really hard questions at the end that are probably going to make people uncomfortable, but need to be asked. Um,
Those
but
are the best ones.
yeah, so this is the other part of how I kind of blew up on TikTok is my Dear Me series. I also do that on YouTube. Um, but this is the letter that started that. So this is also going to be the end of the book. So it's Dear Me, you did not always make the right choice. Sometimes you didn't even make a good one. But you kept going through bruises, through silence, through nights where even the moon didn't bother to show up. I forgive you for the days that you didn't get out of bed. I forgive you for the ones that you did, but wished you hadn't. I love you for staying. You learned how to love without a map, how to mother without a model, and how to hold a heart with hands that were still shaking. You are not perfect, but you are here, and that's everything. So if you forget everything else, remember this. You're allowed to outgrow the version of you who made survival her only personality trait. It's okay to want more now. With stubborn, undeserved, reckless love, me. This is the end of the book, but not the end of it. You may have turned the last page, but your brain didn't shut off, not really. Because those questions, the ones that you answered at the end of each chapter, they didn't disappear, they multiplied. They're nesting now in your chest, in your throat, and behind your rib cage, like something that might grow wings. So go ahead and ask the ones that you've been too afraid to touch. Don't mind my cat. Go ahead and ask the ones that you're too afraid to touch. The ugly ones, the loud ones, the ones that taste like shame or your mother's voice. Write them down or scream them into the void. Either way, you owe yourself the honesty. This might be the last page of my mess, but yours is just starting to get interesting. And if nobody's told you lately, you survived on days that you didn't think that you could. You woke up on mornings where the world didn't deserve you, and you built something brutal and beautiful from the pain. And darling, this is your chance. Go glitter in the dark and make somebody squint.
That's fucking awesome. I really like that. That was a
And then
great way to
and
end.
then I have 1,000 resources. It's like 5
Oh
pages of
shit.
resources.
And you know, this has been a great conversation. I'm so glad that you guys came on here because you're such an inspiration to people. You really are.
No.
You are. It's just accept it and live with it. You're inspiring. So stop it. If there's
Yeah.
one thing that you want anybody to take away from this podcast, what would that be today?
I think that the one thing that I always want to give people, right, is look into your local neighborhood and look into your local state and everything else and see the resources that are there. Because I guarantee you, even when you feel like there's nothing, there is something. Whether it's DV addiction, like whatever it is that you're going through, I guarantee that there's a resource for it in your state. So make some contacts, find a community, and reach out to somebody.
And on that, we got to shout out Pete versus Anxiety. Pete, you're right. She's a great guest. I love you, buddy. Thank you for pushing me into doing what I do. And
Yes.
Bree, I want to really thank you for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it. You're an amazing individual. And I wish
Thanks.
nothing but the best for you and the rest of life, whatever life has to hold. I know you're going to slay it
Yes.
because guess what? You're sober and clean. Let's
I
go.
know, right? That's
After
part.
that, everything that seems impossible after that, let's really take a look behind us and see what we came through.
Yeah. I look at like everything that happened in my life, right? Like when I'm feeling down, I'm like, damn, man, I made it through drug court. Like that's fucking impossible. Like,
Not many people make it through drug court yet.
yeah.
Only 2% of the population get clean and stay clean off of methamphetamines. 2%. 2%. That's a really small number.
It is a really small number.
Which, speaking of, I got a 2% tattoo coming up. I'm getting one done because I've been in Florida for almost a year now. So on my year anniversary in Florida, I'm getting my 2% tattoo.
Let's go.
Yeah. And my mom, I talked my mom into getting a tattoo. She said, if you stay down here for a year, I'll get a tattoo too. Her very first one. So she's got to
Let's
get
go.
her very first tattoo. Yeah, I'm holding her to that shit too. Ma, I know you're going to listen. So I'm holding you to a tattoo, buddy.
There you go. If all else fails, just get a tattoo with your sponsor if you have one.
That's right. Well, thank you, Bree. I congratulations on everything you've accomplished and all the
Thanks.
many, many thousands of people you've probably helped without even knowing that you've helped them.
Yeah. There is quite a few. And like every once in a while, like that's the other cool thing about TikTok, right? Is like there'll be people that I haven't seen in months that like just like randomly come back in my life and they're like, hey, like that one day whenever you did this, this, and this, that really helped me. And I'm like, damn, dude, like I do make a difference.
I've had people come in, from like a year ago and say, Jay, you really saved my life. And I'm like,
Yeah.
thanks, because I really don't think I do that much. I talk to people and I barely sometimes talk to people, but
Right.
I guess whatever we do does matter. And I want you to know that you matter too.
Thanks.
And that's Rock and Recovery. I'm your host, Jay. Check out Bree on TikTok. It's whatever the hashtag is down there, but just Google Babyfox. You'll find her. And until next time, keep rocking your recovery.
Yes.